Keyword rank tracking is one of the least important things I utilize in my reports, but I get a lot of questions about it. So I'm going to break down my process and exactly how I track keywords and report on performance for SEO. So there's a couple main options that I like to use. There's a free option and then there's paid options for keyword tracking. So for free options, one of the best methods is using a Looker Studio dashboard that you can build out. I've already built my keyword rank tracking dashboard here that has a lot of the metrics I like to see. So we'll start by looking at this, and then we'll go into some paid options like Semrush or Ahrefs. And then there's also more specialized keyword tracking tools specifically, where that's their main function. I tend to just use Semrush or Ahrefs since I already have subscriptions. But if you don't have access to those tools, you can consider paying for a keyword tracking tool directly. But I think after this video, using this Looker Studio report may be a good option for you. So what this report does, it allows you to quickly select up here your Google Search Console account. So you can have one dashboard like this for all of your clients. There's no limits. You don't need to pay more for usage. It's all free. It just connects with free Search Console data. Now, is the data perfect? No, but does it get you 80 to 90% of the way there? Yeah, yes, in my opinion. I've never really run into a situation where this data wasn't good enough. A lot of times we strive to have this perfect data where really the actions and the insights aren't going to change that much as long as directionally the data is kind of pointing us in the right direction. So what this tool does here is it counts the number of keywords we have in various positions. So in the top 3, right now we have 19 keywords. The prior 30 days, though, we had 25. So we actually lost 6 keyword positions in the top 3. So that's going to be worth us investigating. We can see in position 4 through 10, so the bottom of the first page, we have 39. And then the prior period, we had 31. So we did gain ground there, but part of that is because we lost some of the top 3 positions. Page 2 has gone up significantly, which I like to see because that means we have some potential here in the coming months to drive some of this onto the first page. We had about 32, now we're up to 70. And then you could go down to page 3 and then page 4 plus. So then we just get into just the standard Search Console metrics. Again, I don't look at these too often, but it's nice to just quickly see period over period and year over year. How are we doing for clicks and impressions? I care a little bit less about site click-through rate and position. Click-through rate and average position, I focus more on individual keywords at that level, not really at this aggregate level, but it's easy to put in, so we have it here. Then we get into our keyword trends report, where this is where we're going to start to see how each keyword is trending. So you'll see this table here has all of the keywords I rank for, and I can click on an individual keyword and it'll filter all these charts below. So with paid keyword tools, usually you're only going to get ranking data. You're not going to get click and impression data like you can with Search Console. So that's one of the benefits of using Search Console. You can actually look at all these metrics next to each other. So with this keyword here, GA4 audit, I was in position 2 in April and I've slowly been declining. So this is a good indication I need to refresh my content for this article, and I probably should have done that probably closer to here in July or August. I've published an article. I got high up on the first page. I was actually getting some clicks, and that slowly started to trend down as my rankings have trended down. So this is a great way to just get insights. Again, is the average position, is it perfect? No, but it gives me enough data so I know what I need to do. And it's very clear that I really need to refresh this and try and improve those rankings. GA4 for SEO, if you look at this is one where kind of similar story. So I made a lot of progress on that. It kind of peaked in November. And the last 2 months, I've seen a little bit of a decline. And we can see going from position 3 to 5 has resulted in a decent drop off here in clicks and impressions. So again, this is another one I really should be focusing on. Let's do GA4 SEO dashboard. So here's one where I'm maintaining. So I got to position 1 in June, and now I've steadily just been maintaining there. It is interesting, though, that my clicks have dropped off. And it looks like click-through rate is down quite a bit. So that would actually be one where, let's look at that one really quick. So GA4 SEO dashboard. Sometimes there might be ads showing or there might be new SERP features that are taking away some organic clicks. And I do see a full set of ads here. It's possible, yeah, my article here is still in position 1. But my click-through rate isn't very good. And it's potentially because these ads are taking away. There's not much else besides that on this result. Like these video results, which you'll see we have our video here, is low on the page. So this shouldn't really be impacting it. So those insights are kind of interesting. When your rankings haven't changed, but you've seen a drop off in clicks, it's going to be worth investigating. Like, how do we get our click-through rate back up to where it was? And with just a rank tracking tool, this is one of the pitfalls of those tools. If I look here, everything's great. I'm ranking in position 1. But when I actually look at my data, I've seen a big drop off in clicks and my click-through rate has gone down, which is ultimately what I care about. If I'm not getting clicks to my website, I'm not getting traffic, I'm not getting leads, ultimately my position 1 rankings don't matter. So these are kind of the things you could start to uncover when you use a report like this. Now, impressions by position is one I really like. It shows me how often I show up at each position on the first page. So how many impressions I have in position 1, how many I have in position 2 for all of my keywords, and then how many do I have on page 2, page 3, and so on. And what you can do is you can compare that to the prior period. And what I like to do is go down the list here and go position by position. So position 1, I've lost some impressions. Position 2, I'm actually down pretty significantly, almost half. Position 3, I'm also down. So I'm losing a lot of impressions in those top 3 positions, which are really valuable. When I look at position 4, I'm about even. 5 and 6, I've increased a little bit. So again, this just gives you a nice overall picture of how your visibility is trending. Ideally, I would also like to see more growth here. I've slowed down my content production, and usually when you're producing enough content on page 2 to 6, you're going to see a large increase in impressions, and eventually that trickles onto the first page. So we can start to see some of that in this data here. And then growth opportunities. This is just some quick pre-filtered data where I can quickly see like, okay, what keywords are in striking distance here? These are all keywords that are either bottom of page 1 or on page 2. I really should probably hone in on these and see what I can do to increase rankings. Maybe I need to update the page. Maybe there's an optimization issue that I can address. Maybe I need to build links. A lot of potential tactics you can utilize, but this just gets you pointed in the right direction for some quick wins. And then I also have pages with low click-through rates, keyword page combinations that could be worth investigating to see if I change the title tag and meta description and do some SEO testing, if I can improve that. So this is kind of my preferred method for digging into keyword performance at this granular of a level. For most client reports, I'm just going to pull in highlights from this data because really what I want to be focused on, at least when I do my reporting, is more tangible business results. So leads, pipeline, how organic impacted that, traffic, and then impressions to a lesser degree. And then we'll have some data on kind of groups of keywords or individual keywords as needed. But this is more for like an internal tool to use as you're doing an SEO campaign to point you in the right direction of things you can address. So that's kind of my method here for free tracking of keywords. And the nice thing about this is all you need to do is set up a Search Console account and sign up for Looker Studio, which is also free. And you can immediately get this data and have some reporting to give to your clients. Now, if you have an Semrush or an Ahrefs subscription, it doesn't really matter which one. Both tools are essentially going to do the same thing in terms of rank tracking. Ahrefs has rank tracker, and then Semrush has position tracking here. Essentially, you're going to get some very similar data. There's some visuals they give you. There's some different data points here. Now, this is based on keywords you input. So you need to select the keywords you want to track in both of these tools. Search Console is automatically going to track the queries that users are searching. So you don't have to input anything into Search Console. But in these tools, you want to input a set of keywords. Ideally, these are keywords you're actually working on. One of the mistakes I see is a lot of people will upload this massive list of keywords, and they're really only focused on a small percentage of them on that list. So that can kind of impact your reporting. Now, you could use a feature like tags to address that. You can tag keywords as like currently working on and maybe others as like future keywords. So you could filter based on those tags. But if you have too many keywords in here and you're not doing anything to address them, it's nice to know how you're ranking, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything because you're not going to make any changes. So if you're going to do that and upload a big bulk list, I would definitely utilize the tag feature. The tag features are also nice, and both tools have it. If there's topics or certain ways you want to group keywords and you want to see how that group is performing, which in my opinion is sometimes more impactful than individual keywords. Individual keywords can fluctuate up and down. But generally, if you have a large group of similar keywords or topically related keywords, and that's moving in either up or down, depending on the metric you're looking at, that gives you, I think, a better view of how you're performing and how you're trending. So that's more of my preferred method. Ranking distribution, this will give you, some different breakdowns on, top 3, top 10. Again, I had a similar report in my Looker Studio report. If we do overview, you will get some charts here, and you could play around with some of the data here with different metrics that Semrush is giving us. But then here's my tracking of the keywords I have inputted. We could see position. There's 2 different dates here, so we could see the change. And you get some other metrics like volume and some other metrics from Semrush. and the page that's actually ranking as well. Now, one advantage I would say of paid tools is you can actually track competitors' rankings, which you cannot do in Google Search Console. So it's kind of nice to use in tandem, and that's typically the way I would use this. I don't believe I have competitors set up in mine here, but actually it looks like it'll automatically pull in some. But essentially, you could track how you're doing versus competitors. If we go to the Ahrefs version and go here, yeah, I don't have any added right now. It'll probably recommend some for me to add. And again, what's nice about this, let's add a couple of these just for now, for examples. Let's save these. So this will give me how the competitors are trending for the keywords I want to track, which is nice to know. It's nice to know if your competitors are starting to focus more on keywords you're targeting. So here, if we look at this, we'll start to see, so for this keyword here, Databox is on page 2, Agency Analytics is in position 6, so I'm in one position ahead of them. We can look at other keywords too on the list where, like this here, SEO reports for clients, Databox is doing really well, Agency Analytics is doing well. I'm not doing that well, I'm on page 3, but I have improved. So again, this is a nice piece of reporting that you can't get in the free tool. It's more of a supplement to the main report, and something that it's just kind of nice to know the overall movement of your competitors. Again, will you take action based on that? I find not very often. Typically, I'm going to create a strategy and we're going to focus on what we're focusing on. If competitors happen to do it as well, it's nice to know. It doesn't always change the strategy, but sometimes there might be situations where if you see competitors are investing heavily in a topic that you're going after, maybe you need to ramp up efforts, build more backlinks, publish more content. So there is some benefit to understanding what competitors are doing. But yeah, either of these options will work. And the main advantage, again, I think is competitor tracking, which you don't get inside of Google Search Console. And in Google Search Console, you can also tag keywords and apply filtering. So a lot of those features in Semrush and Ahrefs, you can also get there. But if you already have subscriptions to these tools, you might as well set up the keyword tracking and give you some of this additional data. If you don't have subscriptions and you rather get started with a free option, I think you can get very far with just Google Search Console and Looker Studio. Again, 80-90% of the way there. So that's pretty much it. This template we are giving away as part of our newsletter. So if you want a copy of this report, basically once you get access to this report, you just connect your Search Console account and you could select any Search Console account that you have access to. There's no limits. So it's a nice way, and you could change this rapidly. After you're done looking at one website and one client, you can click here, go to the drop-down, select the next website, and all the data updates instantly. So it's a very good option for doing keyword tracking and having some additional data. Even if you have a paid tool, you can use this as a supplement to what you're doing with your paid keyword tracking and get a few insights that you might not get out of your paid tool. So again, if you want a copy of this, I'm going to put the link in the description. Just sign up for the newsletter. We also give out a new template every month. So we give spreadsheet templates, Looker Studio reports, all sorts of things on the newsletter. So definitely sign up for that. And if there's any questions, drop them in the comments below.